Okay, I feel compelled to rebut this argument about the little grid row Excel spreadsheet type chart where everything seems favorable. If you take a good hard look at it, the bottom left corner, which is um, we spent a whole bunch of money and uh, things are all better because global warming was really a problem, doesn't really hold water because the reality of it is just like on the top, our economy is still devastated from all the money. And it oversimplifies things. One possible outcome that wasn't mentioned is that global warming could actually improve things, our standard of living after a few disasters, creating more farmable fields, et cetera, et cetera. And it's very possible also, and we need to remember that global warming is uh, just that, not man-made and natural phenomenon. However, everybody seems to miss this argument, so bear with me because I'm really on your side here. It just plain doesn't make sense to burn up all our fossil fuels for energy. Um, our fossil fuels are used for many, many, many things. There's only so many of them. We're not producing anymore. The world may be producing very little of it, but not anywhere near at the extent that we're consuming them. If you look around your house, take a look, you'll see microwaves, carpeting, tables, tablecloths, curtains, clothes, shoes, socks, computers, you name it. It's made from oil, hydrocarbons, or organic chemistry. It's all being produced from oil, and we will run out someday. We'll run out, and that's a fact. So we need to prepare for this. And one of the biggest catastrophes about running out is not being able to have a good supply of the chemicals and the chemistry that's involved that we can produce all these wonderful things from it. Energy is will eventually become probably the least of our worries about not having fossil fuels left. What we really need to do is drastically prolong how long it will take us to run out, potentially being able to make it for the foreseeable future if we survive before we can potentially harvest from other planets. But the reality of it is, there's a whole bunch of things we can do. Um, and they're all good potentially for our economy, and they're all good, for the whole global warming thing if you buy into the fact that humans are creating it, which I am not necessarily agreeing with. However, let's take a look at what's really going on. We spent probably $750 billion in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan in the last 5 or 6 years, probably more than that if the truth is known. Other countries are doing the same thing. We've been buying up the fuel over there in the Middle East like crazy, and we've been doing that because we have our own supply, which we can live off of for some period of time, but we're saving it, and we're saving it because we know that there's a finite amount, and the last people with fossil fuel resources, given the present state of technology, wins. Will be the winners. I don't know what we will have won, but we'll be the winners. Powers that be seem to know this inherently. But it does seem to me like $750 billion added up to whatever else the other countries are spending there. Not to mention all the extra money that we're spending on fossil fuels, which we know are limited, is kind of enough money, at least if we add it up over the next 10 or 15 years, to pretty much solve all these issues. I mean, you have, but the possibility exists that we might be able to discover a way to do sustainable fusion reactions, thus giving us a virtually unlimited supply of safe electrical energy. Um, uh, Energy from the tides. Of course, it's all solar energy, no matter how you look at it, but there's energy from the tides. Solar cells are now coming out. They're 40% efficient. If we could get 60% efficiency and make them cheap enough, we could make roofing material out of them. And the average home would be, for the most, independent of any other source, potentially even charging electric cars if we could find a safe way to make batteries. Um, there are so many different possible ways, and most of which none of us can imagine yet. There's a lot smarter people than am, but the reality of it is these problems in my mind are completely solvable. We continue to dump money into the Middle East, and the Middle East becomes more and more important um, politically in the world. It seems to be fairly clear that these are an unstable people, at least right now. They hate us, and probably for good reason. I'm not sure, but the reality of it is, had we not been dumping money, and more money into their laps by buying their fossil fuels from them, they'd probably still be bickering with each other and leaving the rest of the world alone. And I believe that we could go back to that situation, and hopefully they'll find a way to not act like they're sitting on the world's supply of something so valuable, and maybe realize that they need to find other ways to sustain their existence. So I think that these are much bigger issues, and the whole global warming issue is really a non-issue if you solve the real issue, which is a finite amount of fossil fuels that we just keep burning into the air, releasing into our air. I don't like breathing it. I don't know if it's going to cause any global warming or anything else, but it seems pretty clear. If I'm standing over a fire pit, I don't inhale the smoke, and I don't pollute. I don't build fires in my house. World's a contained unit, so it just doesn't. Being somebody who believes in the earth providing us what we need, it seems to me like we need to quit using our savings account to live on today and try to find a way to save that for future. So that's my whole point, and I hope nobody gets mad at me, but that's my issue, and thank you for listening to me.